with elections just 5 days away and all this talk about holding election deniers accountable for their dangerous rhetoric, Colorado is actually considered the gold standard of voter participation and voter security. Colorado actually started mailing every voter a ballot in 2013, and according to local and national experts, even election judges, Republicans and Democrats both agree. With that said, there are still voters in Colorado that are convinced that voting is rigged. Why? Democratic incumbent Secretary of State Jena Griswold is running for a second term against Republican Pam Anderson, and she joins me now to discuss just that. All right, Jena, so let me just start straight up. First question here. Do you believe 100% that your election process in your state is reliable and in no way, shape, or form rigged?
Of course it's reliable. And the fact that we're even at the spot where you're asking that question, I think shows a lot about the political atmosphere. So Colorado's elections are considered some of the most accessible and secure in the country. And we have layers and layers of security and actually verify the outcome of an election through a bipartisan risk limiting audit. Coloradans can rest assured that our elections are great. And in fact, Coloradans are great voters. We had the second highest turnout in the country in 2020.
So then let me ask you, for those who are still convinced that they cannot trust the system, how can you as Secretary of State right now calm those concerns and fears?
Well, it's a pretty straightforward system. Number one, Coloradans vote on a piece of paper. That cannot be hacked from foreign adversaries or domestic adversaries trying to undermine the right to vote. All of the election equipment is tested by bipartisan teams. We have bipartisan oversight over the entire election process. Signatures on the back of mail ballots are verified to identify who is voting. And of course, afterwards, we do those randomized audits that show that the election results are correct. But the bigger issue that I think that needs to be addressed is that President Trump tried to steal the election in 2020. And the lies, the attacks on the right to vote have continued through 21 and through 2022. And going into the midterms, over 60% of American voters will have an election denier on their ballot. And we have this great opportunity as Americans to unite Republicans and Democrats against this extremism that's embracing conspiracies, that's embracing lies, that's leading to political violence, and to reaffirm ourselves of being a nation where people believe in facts, where we agree to disagree at the ballot box and then set it aside, and we're all united under the flag, and where democracy can prevail.
So with that said, do you agree with Biden then when he says that democracy is on the ballot?
I think it's literally on the ballot. Can you imagine that in the United States of America, over 60% of American voters will have an election denier on their ballot? And not only that, we are seeing election deniers run for Secretary of State. My job as Secretary of State is to make sure that every Republican, Democrat, and unaffiliated voter has access to safe and secure elections. That's why over the last 4 years, I've increased drop boxes by 65%, guaranteed access on public universities and tribal lands, and set up automatic voter registration. But election deniers are running in places for Secretary of State, including Nevada, Michigan, Minnesota, New Mexico, Arizona. These are people who do not believe in free and fair elections, who want to oversee the nation's free and fair elections. So we have this opportunity to reject these election deniers in next week on Tuesday and make sure that American elections are overseen by folks who will uphold the will of the people.
So, Jen, with all that, let me ask you, your office did announce that 30,000 non-U.S. citizens living in Colorado were mistakenly sent postcards encouraging them to register to vote. What happened there, Jena?
Well, that is right. My office mistakenly sent out a notice. It never put registration at risk. It never put the election at risk. It's akin to receiving an advertisement from a credit card company saying you may be eligible for a credit card. No one thinks they're actually getting a credit card. So we acted quickly to announce the mistake, sent out new notices No one who received that notice has been able to register to vote. In fact, our system blocks non-eligible people from registering to vote. But I think it's just as important to see how something like that got spun out into major disinformation, including President Trump using it to allude to massive conspiracies, which he tends to do. And that in turn led to me receiving multiple death threats. That's the atmosphere we're living in now. Election officials have to be transparent. We have to clearly communicate with the public. But the fact of it is, the political rhetoric being pushed by extremists in this country is dangerous. It is. It is leading to political violence. It is leading to the undermining of election confidence. And as a country, we have to reject the extremism and make sure we double down on American freedoms and democracy.
Secretary of State Jena Griswold, appreciate your time, Jena.
Thank you so much.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.